but also maybe consider a different game pretty much every time I tell that person to take a break.
Oh my god, Destiny's dying. Datto said so. Is, believe it or not, a take I've seen more than once, which is crazy. Today I wanted to talk about the state of Destiny 2 because my good friend Datto just uploaded a video titled "Some of you need to take a break and it shows." My dude's calling out so many of yous. And what's funny, I essentially made this video a little over a year ago because rhetoric was pretty similar. Destiny 2 is in the worst state it's ever been. Player retention and sentiment is the lowest it's ever been. This next DLC, make or break. I'm done with Destiny. And guess what? We're back to it again, baby. It's kind of like a never-ending merry-go-round. And right now, we're kind of stuck at the bottom. It's really fun to hate on Destiny right now. But then, oh, what's that? Oh, July, August, final shape premiere. And then suddenly, you guys are just going to be like, freaking, how'd you take my money? Me too. So
There's times where my job's really fun. There are times when it's not really fun. And right now, we're more in the not category.
But in reality, what Datto is talking about is that Destiny is his job. So it can be easier to make content on Destiny when Destiny is in a high. And it's harder to make content on Destiny when Destiny's in a lull. And right now, Destiny's in a lull. That shouldn't come as a surprise. It wasn't supposed to be like a shock and awe statement. Pretty much just stating the facts. And also all the numbers back it up. You know, like player count and... well, I don't know. I sort of made that up. I can't really see many numbers aside from Steam numbers. All right, there, I said it. Fine, go ahead, cancel me. So as you can imagine, if you're playing the game casually, recreationally, and you're not enjoying it, imagine how Datto feels covering it all the time when he doesn't necessarily have a choice. Because yeah, he could stop uploading. He doesn't need to make a video every day or every other day. And YouTube doesn't say you have to, but it's sort of like the Italian mafia.
All I'm saying is, one day you're gonna be walking down the street, the next second, you got a knife in your gut. We would never do that. I'm just saying, things happen, so maybe upload a video, huh?
Point is, it's not written, but it's implied with the way the algorithm and all that stuff works.
I saw an article come out talking about Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is not even in Season 1 yet, and people are losing their minds over some of the endgame situation.
So Datto starts relating the situation we currently have in Destiny to a sort of similar situation in Diablo 4, which if you're not aware, Diablo 4 came out rather recently, and people were hitting the content wall very quickly. Complaining began very quickly. And if you played Destiny, this probably sounds familiar.
It is something every game of this kind eventually experiences. And in a recent dev live stream, the Diablo 4 devs in Season 0 of their game told people to just take a break. If you're feeling done, you're feeling burnt out, take a break.
What's interesting is I've talked about this before, but actually when I visited Bungie HQ many years ago, there was a previous community manager that I was talking with who essentially said the same exact thing, that it's okay to not play our game all the time and just our game. In fact, they'd encouraged me. Now granted, I don't know if you're ever going to hear somebody at Bungie say that again, but it was the same exact sentiment that sounds strange, especially because every game and their mom these days wants us to play their game and only their game, but it's sort of a catch-22 because I've yet to find the game that can service and satiate everybody's hunger. It's not possible. You want us to play your game and only your game, but then people run out of content and they complain, and realistically, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much content video game developers can pump out. Fortnite set this unrealistic precedent for things like this. Destiny is pretty much the only live service looter shooter game you know. People have tried. It's been almost a decade. Now, why would that be? You would think at this point, seeing how popular Destiny is and how much money it's made, there would be others. Well, turns out, it's not that easy. Bungie does their best, and they have their formula, and they found a groove, a rhythm, that allows them to push this game forward at the cadence they like or are okay with, which currently is a bit of the issue, which we'll get to, but that's where some of this burnout comes from. A lot of it comes from passion. People enjoy the game so much, they want more. They want everything. They want to spend more time in it. They want to absorb as much of it as they can. And when they can't, it's a bummer. As Datto had mentioned, they'll find themselves just launching it, sitting in orbit, maybe running them around the tower without really having a goal or like, I don't really know what to do, and then logging off. You'll find that the reason I'm making this video is I'm a big proponent of what Datto's pushing here.
You play when there's new stuff to play. You get off when you're just not feeling it anymore. And I don't feel like it should take a streamer or a YouTuber to literally tell you to your face that you should stop playing a thing if you don't enjoy it anymore.
No, Datto, I need you to tell me exactly how to feel about everything. There's a new gun. Do we like it, Datto? Oh, we do? Oh, I love this gun. Datto, new content. New raid. Oh, we don't like it? No, we don't like it. Datto, I don't want to play anymore. Well, don't play anymore? Well, shut your dirty mouth. How about that, huh? What do you know? Now, I'd like to expand upon one of the points he mentioned where some people with certain games feel attached and they can't get away from it even if seemingly they want to.
But I don't know what it is about certain games that people just feel the need to permanently latch on even if they don't want to play anymore. Just like forcing themselves to play. That's not healthy.
I would credit this to the current state of gaming and its ecosystem. Because let's say you're playing Destiny. It is a live service, looter, progression-based system. A system like this means there's lots of sticks with lots of carrots on the end of them. You're trying to chase them all, get them all, and there's always so many things to do and invest your time into. And that's what they want. They want you on their game a little bit more. Well, the problem then comes, that is so many games these days, especially AAA games. I mean, we've seen how so many studios have gone away from big AAA releases every year of certain things, and instead live service models, and instead it's updates every year, or this and that, because money, to be honest. Oh, do the suits love that money. So if I've invested a lot of time in Destiny, definitely get the feeling of sunk cost fallacy. But I don't know what to do, so I'm going to log off. Okay, but then what do I play? Because if I play a lot of AAA games, well, I could play this, but it's halfway through their season. I haven't even started the battle. If I hop over here, well, I'm a expansion behind. I mean, it's so late into the ranks, and I don't know the meta. Like, that is sort of the state of gaming. Now, AAA multiplayer online games, that is. Because me, if you've been on my channel, you know, oh, baby, we love variety. My remedy for those of you burnt out up and off Destiny, like, I don't know what to do. Try some indie games, baby. Join us. Because, man, there is an indie game out there for you. It's not a matter of if, it's just where, finding it for you. Because there are. And there are so many bangers. And they're coming out so often. And I attribute that to the fact that they aren't chasing the same thing that some of these AAA studios have to or feel like they have to chase, which is, you know, having you completely engrossed into their ecosystem. So I understand that sentiment of almost feeling trapped. But let me tell you, there's nothing better than feeling free. Because I'm sitting here talking to you about this topic today because many people probably don't associate me that much with the Destiny community anymore. My channel started on Destiny, pretty much got me to where I am today, thanks to the initial inertia, momentum it gave me. But I moved on to variety because I never wanted to do one thing. Because I just know myself and I can't do one thing. So like Datto and Astacross and all these other Destiny creators who, like, you know, whether they're at the highest highs or the lowest lows, are still pumping out content. Nothing but respect, my dudes, and solidarity. I know it's tough, but you guys stick through it thick and thin, and I respect it. Now, some might call me a casual, which, ironically, they wouldn't be wrong about this season. I have to admit, I uninstalled Destiny 2 about 5 or 6 weeks ago. I have almost no playtime in this season. Mainly because I was running out of hard drive issues and I was like, this is just taking up a lot of space, and when I play it again, I'll just re-download it. But also I haven't had a hankering to re-download it. Now, why is that? Well, we're sort of in this same cycle I was talking about. Lightfall came, and granted, it wasn't as high a high as Witch Queen. There was some more issues, but, you know, big expansion, community sentiment there, oh, we're having fun, and then the seasons until the next big launch sort of like sort of trend down. It's happening seemingly even earlier though, which is the same thing we were talking about last year. This was the first season they tried to change the seasonal model or whatever it might be, and I think next season is supposed to do it even more. But for me, it's simple. If I'm not enjoying a game, I don't play it. Now, granted, it took me a while to get to that point, though, because I used to be like many of you, where I played 1 or 2 games, and I really liked them, and I wanted more out of them, and couldn't accept that I didn't have more out of them. So, instead, what I do is, instead of dwelling on that, I just find something new to play that I like, that takes my attention for the time being, and then keep moving between things.
I don't know. I get it all the time throughout the history of the franchise. Hey, Datto, not really enjoying the game anymore. I just kind of log on and jump around the tower for 20 minutes and then I log off. I still really like the game. I like the franchise. I'm just not feeling it right now. What should I do? Pretty much every time, I tell that person to take a break.
But see, I'm a normie, all right? So me telling you what to do doesn't matter. But Datto? How dare you, Datto? Nah, I'm just kidding. If I was going to take the word from anybody, it would be the people who play Destiny the most. He talks about how people approach him essentially like looking for answers as to how they can enjoy Destiny again, which, spoilers, Datto doesn't have the answer to that. None of us do.
Yeah, I've literally said back to people like, well, like, why don't you want to play anymore, or this or that, or like literally just ask the question back to them and they answer it on their own.
The way I like to think about it is if you find yourself asking that question, then you already know the answer. Now, come on, what is the solution? And usually the answer is space. I've said this before, and I'll shout it to the heavens. My favorite game is Destiny when there is stuff to do. When there's not stuff to do, I just don't play because it's not really a game that I just find myself perusing all the time. For me these days, that's Teamfight Tactics, which is completely different. But if I'm just gonna play a game in my free time, it's probably gonna be something like that, or Halls of Torment or that kind of stuff. But when there's new expansions or lots of content I've missed out on, that's what I'll do. Sometimes I'll miss the first season or two, play a little bit. Third season's coming around, new expansion on the horizon, so I see the future. I know what we're working towards, and now I've come back and wow, look at all this content I have and all this not time-gated story stuff I can do now, and push through this and push through that, and then I just no-life it, degenerate, hyper-focus for like a week or two, get it all done, and I'm like, all right, I'll see you at the DLC. I enjoyed my time. Thank you very much. This might be weird, but I'll try and relate it to eating at a restaurant. We all have a favorite restaurant. Come on. For me, well, pretty much any pizza place. But let's say I want to go get some pizza. I sit down, I order some za, some slices, some pie. I get my slices. Compliments to the pizza chef.
Hey, Tony, this is delicious.
I enjoy that piece of pizza. Oh, I take it all in. I devour it. I'm like, this is so good. I freaking love this. I'm out of pizza. Now, I'll order some more pizza. I love pizza. Okay, this is good. But now I'm starting to get a little full. Starting to get a little sick. And suddenly another pizza doesn't sound quite as appetizing. So, you know what? Check, please. Get my check. Pay for my meal. And I leave. That's it for my pizza. Hopefully you see my point. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go enjoy some other food in the meantime. Find some other things I might like. But I'll always return to pizza. I love pizza. That's some good comfort. Yes, sir. Oh, they got a new topping? Oh, sheesh. But I'm not just going to sit there and force feed myself pizza over and over and over and over.
The fear of missing out situation.
Oh, the FOMO. That's the worst. But you know what's funny? I'm all FOMO'd out. You're like, what? I'll be honest. There are so many things that are trying to get that FOMO out of me that I've just sort of stopped caring about any of them. All these battle passes and time-limited things. Now it's more of like I only have so much time to... Oh, well. I don't care that much. That's almost where the point I am.
That I think is not nearly as big of a problem as people think it is anymore.
So just know they're trying to prey on that FOMO part of you. Datto goes on to make great points here about Destiny 2. FOMO isn't nearly as bad as you think it is, especially for a lot of this loot. It reminds me of the Wendigo farm right before Lightfall. Everybody was doing it, and I'm like, sheesh. And then Blue's talking about it. And even Rob's talking about it. I'm like, all right, fine, we'll grind some Wendigos. So we ended up grinding GMs for Wendigos. I have yet to use the Wendigo. I got like 70 of those things. You narrowed it down to the best freaking rolls. I have never equipped it. And that goes for a lot of things.
What are people afraid of actually missing out on at this point? Like, genuine question. Real question.
Rarely is there ever one thing so pivotal, so game-breaking, that it's now or never. Like, if you don't get this now, you won't be able to play the game. As he explains, aside from, like, being a competitive day one raid racer, like legitimately trying to get worlds first or something like that, those little nuances, little differences don't mean much in the grand scheme of things. They really don't. And I know that's hard because your monkey brain says, oh, but I could get that Wendigo with that 1% extra increase if I get the 6 out of 6 instead of this 5.5 out of 6. Come on now.
If you're a dad with 7 kids, 9 jobs, 18 minutes to play every 6 weeks, I can't help you there. But also maybe consider a different game at that point. Destiny is kind of a game that's built with the intent of playing it a little more often than that.
Datto tried to diagnose me with no Destiny-itis? It's not my game. Well, I just so happen to be a father of 7 with 9 jobs and only 18 minutes to play within 6 weeks. All right? And maybe I want to freaking play Destiny. Jokes aside, he's got a good point. At the end of the day, you got to see a duck for a duck. Destiny isn't a game that you can pick up for 5-10 minutes at a time and get really anything done. I mean, you'll be lucky to load into the tower within that time. Why a lot of people have the same feelings about MMOs. I know a lot of my friends who used to raid a whole bunch can't do it anymore because they don't have time to hop on and wait for their clan to gather for the first hour to then go through and then start progging it, and that's a whole night. They don't have that time anymore. So they're just not able to do it anymore. I think that's also something people have a hard time realizing, and something that myself and really Blue have come to realize in over probably a year at this point. Destiny 2 is not the game I want it to be, nor, is it for Blue. I still like the game. But at this point, 9 years in or whatever, I recognize what it is, what I would want, and the discrepancies there. Not to mention, as we've seen with the past couple years and their seasonal model, what they're trying to do, where they're trying to go, and, I'm not crazy about it. I enjoy it. And the core gameplay, I'll never get tired of that. And the shooting, and there's so many aspects about Destiny that are fun, but just don't make it the I play this game for 8 hours a day every day anymore. And the thing is, that's okay. I've come to peace with that because it doesn't have to be. I'm a little more fortunate than, Datto and some of the other Destiny content creators because that's almost exclusively what they make is Destiny. So even if they don't want to play or don't want to make a video, if they don't, they got nothing. So they continue to. And that's why I admire it. I legitimately just can't, my brain won't let me do that. And that's sort of been to my detriment because I hop around all the time and play a whole bunch of variety and stuff. I'm not doing that well, but I would rather that than lose my mind doing something I didn't want to do. In this case, Destiny. I would rather bounce around and play Destiny when I enjoy it than force myself to, because I feel like I have to. And again, it's weird relating it because it's technically a job for me, and for you guys, it's probably recreational, but the point still is the same, more or less.
There is no one forcing your hand. You can play at your leisure. I promise that you're not missing out on nearly as many things as you think you might be.
This is a realization and almost coming to Jesus moment I had with Destiny 2 when there was the Master Duality for a week. There's the Galran farm where you could get them off the map and get a whole bunch of Master Artifice stuff real quick and possibly red borders on the Epicuria, you know what I'm talking about. And it was then I asked myself a question. I had to get on and I got to get this Master Artifice and I got to grind this. I don't know if I really want to, or I'll have to find the time and I'll have to get some people together. And that's when it was okay, am I hopping on to Destiny and playing right now because I want to? Or am I hopping on and playing Destiny 2 right now because it feels like I have to? Spoilers. You can just tell by the way I was even talking about it. It felt like I have to, or I had to. And that's when I stepped back and I'm like, all right, what am I doing? Is this really worth it? Am I really going to regret not doing this? And guess what? I haven't regretted not doing that farm. Maybe I missed out on a build where I could have hit one more tier on something and, maybe. But that hasn't mattered. It was almost liberating seeing that, looking back and being like, oh yeah, I didn't do that and the world didn't explode. Crazy. I know. At least yet.
I think some of this also has to deal with the fact that we are at the end of this part of the game's story.
Towards the end, it's a good point. He mentions that the sentiment right now, especially around the whole community and players and everything, is a little down because it, again, might feel a little different this time. Because we're not just headed into the next big expansion, we're heading into the next big expansion that is the end of Destiny as we know it. As we've known it for the past 9-10 years. The story, where we've been headed. We know where we were going. But the Light and Dark saga comes to an end, and then there's something after, but we don't know. And right now, Bungie is pretty silent. You know, not a lot of communications about what that's going to be, which I'm sure we're going to find some answers in that showcase. I believe they have planned like late August. I imagine they'll give us something. But with them being silent, the announcement of Marathon, the rumors about all these other games and studios and people leaving the Bungie, specifically the Destiny team to different teams within Bungie, all these sorts of things start to make it feel like you almost feel like an abandoned child. You were the firstborn, but your parents just had a new one, and suddenly they're more interested in that. Or it's Andy, right? And he just doesn't want to play with you anymore. You're like, well, but we're here, and what about us? So I get that. And that's sort of the sentiment. And when there's no real answer on the other end, it just sort of compounds, and then suddenly people are talking, and then this, and then that, and then obviously there was like the Aztecross video, microtransactions, and to be fair, the microtransaction thing is horrible, but you've got all these things compounding, and then it's really easy to just, you know, get into this hive mind thinking, and they're being like, oh, we're all doom and gloom, and I get it. Everybody's sort of realizing, hey, I'm burnt out, and for a lot of people, that's a hard truth to face. For me, first time. So let me tell you, somebody who's been there and back again and again. Not only that, consider yourself lucky, all right? You're worried about a dead game? Almost every game I love is literally a dead game. It's gone. Or is like dead on release, okay? So trust me, I know what that feels like. And at the end of the day, Destiny's still doing good. Still making lots of money. And I can guarantee you they're not going to be like, all right, well, Light and Darkness Saga, it's over. I don't know, we'll just sort of keep Destiny on life support, but whatever. That ain't no way. So, there is some future for Destiny. Just a lot of us don't know what that is right now. And it's that uncertainty that has people feeling a little uncomfortable. Not only that, again, the seasonal model still hasn't really changed. I know, like, for me, there's nothing about this season that's really, like, pushing me to be like, all right, I'm back, baby. Ooh, I'm grinding this. Not even the fishing. I know. Really? I've only caught like 3 fish, which is like sacrilegious. But we've been here before, and I'm gonna be honest, we're probably gonna be here again. Because history always finds a way to repeat itself. I told you, it's that merry-go-round. Once we get to final shape, oh, I know, I'm gonna be popping off, dude. I can't wait to see the finale. Like, where does this go? What's gonna happen? And then what's the future? And then who knows? I don't know. Maybe the future of Destiny has got me more excited. Maybe that's going to pull me back in after Final Shape. I don't know, but I'm not going to dwell on it because that's just it. I don't know until I hear for sure from Bungie's old pie hole. We're just sort of in limbo. And so I'm playing all the freaking indie games, dude. I'm grinding TFT, maybe a little too much. Anyway, it's okay to not be okay with the game that you love. It happens. Fall in love, fall out of, fall back in. So to beat a dead horse, remember this. And ask yourself this question the next time you log into whatever game it is. Not just Destiny, but the game you play the most maybe and the game you love. And you log on and ask yourself, you're hopping on there and you're figuring out what to do. Did I hop on because I wanted to? Or did I hop on because I felt like I have to? And if you know which one you're on, you have your answer. And now that you have some more free time, why don't you subscribe and watch my other videos? I got over 4,000. No, you can do whatever, like, fine. Destiny is not dead. Is it at its peak? No. Is it at a pretty low floor? Probably one of its lowest? Yeah. But that's still a pretty high floor compared to other things, and it's not hit the emergency button, hit the panic button, everything's on fire. It's Jover. We're not there, all right? So, Akuna your tatas. Thanks for listening. Doses.